Dad, you can't do this anymore. I think it's time to consider a nursing home.
But I don't want to leave my home. All my stuff.
But Dad.
Alva.
Always Best Care is here to help.
With Always Best Care, we come to you and do anything you need to continue living at home with our care.
You really are a hero.
Let Always Best Care take care of your loved one. Everyone deserves the best care, always.
Let me help you with that, Mr. Smith.
Oh, thank you.
How did this get here?
You got one too?
Yeah.
Ah, new recruits? I'm sure you're wondering why you're here. This is our Elite Caregiver Super Training Center, and you two are the perfect candidates.
This is incredible.
I know, right? Ready to become an Always Best Care caregiver? Working for the best team with competitive pay? Join Team Green.
Always Best Care supports diversity. There's a hero in all of us.
Did you know he'll help you understand? Did you know always a right-hand man? Did you know he's gonna make it clear? Did you know? Come on, listen here. Did you know?
Hello and welcome to the Did You Know Show. My name is Brian Green, and the Did You Know Show is usually centered around connecting people to home, community, and business resources that you ordinarily wouldn't know about. Today, we're taking a spin, and we're going to get into the kitchen. And I have with me today a legend in the radio world. This woman is a philanthropist, a community activist, and if you follow her on social media, you know that she is no stranger to the kitchen. I sometimes walk away from her posts and her updates hungry, thinking, wow, how do you make that? How do you do that? So we've been able to get my good friend, my radio mentor, Patty Jackson, in the kitchen, and she's going to share with us a couple of dishes that she does. But before we get to that, to give you your propers, she has been in the business for 40 years. And I know that because I follow her like I follow her like a true groupie. And I know for a fact that at one point in your story, you were even a candy striper.
Yes.
But Patty, tell us how you got started, if you don't mind. Take us through that.
Well, I got started. It all started in the church, actually.
Okay.
I was the church announcer. I was the basketball announcer. I was always in front of a microphone.
Oh, wow.
And the pastor at my church lived around the corner from someone who owned a radio station. And he said, put her on. She does the announcements at the church. I bugged the lady, the receptionist. She finally let me meet the program director. I started interning, which means you're not getting any money for showing up. And one day, somebody didn't show up for work. And I went on. I trudged through the snow. And I did the 1255 newscast.
Oh, wow. And it started, over the bridge? It started over in New Jersey?
In Camden, New Jersey, 18th floor, City Hall.
Oh, wow. And you've been on the radio ever since. And not only is she on the radio, she hosts the Dell. Anything that's a community thing that's going on in Philadelphia, you can always look forward to seeing a few people. She's usually there. And you are quite the orator. You understand and hear that distinctive voice. I follow you with the 411 program. I mean, you have so many different things that you're involved with. You do the Dell every year. We actually do the Dell a little bit together.
Yes.
we take center stage out under the stars at the Dell, and shout out to the staff. But, there's been a lot of community service. Just recently, we were both at the Philadelphia. We celebrated Joan Myers Brown.
Yes, we did.
Who's been in business 50 plus 1 years, but she's been teaching dance for 60 years. Another powerful person in the community. Patty, tell us what it's been. You have stayed relevant for 40 years. That's not, for me, I've been on the radio for 8, right? Yeah. I have a 1-hour show. A lot of people listen to it, the Word show on 96.1 FM, but I got 1 hour a week. You're on almost 7 days, 6
days a week.
6 days a week.
6 days a week.
What? Go ahead.
Almost 40 hours every week. But they're different musical programs and they're different things. Sunday morning, it's about serving the community, but we're, very music intense.
Right.
Sunday night, it's the wide, wonderful world of butter. It was passed on to me after his death.
Right.
So we're playing oldies. We're taking you back down memory lane. And during the week, it's the format today's R&B
Right.
that we play.
And you have the 411. You have a podcast.
I have a podcast.
Because I know that Patty and the Millennials.
Yes.
What is that about, Patty?
Well, I'm the baby boomer.
Okay.
I surround myself with millennials, Gen X, men and women, and we have conversation about everything. Even when we can agree to disagree. We may not agree on everything, but it's important to have conversation.
And it's an intergenerational kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
And not only that, what I find very interesting is that you guys tackle the hard topics. And I find myself looking forward to the Auntie Advice.
Yes. Auntie Advice is wisdom. It's
Yeah.
life. It's wisdom. It's common sense. And sometimes we don't want to have common sense. And it'll make you think. If somebody could walk away, smile, and think, and say, I needed to read that today. That's what Auntie Advice is.
And when you started in radio 40 years ago, did you think that it was going to get to this point?
I never did. I never did. I didn't start making videos until after I had my stroke. I'm a stroke survivor.
Mm-hmm.
It was after then, it was like God put me on this path. I only thought radio, but then a whole new world opened up for me with YouTube and videos, and I've just been on this course ever since.
And we followed you. Being a stroke survivor, you've done it so much with class. And, for those that don't know, Patty and I had a real good relationship. We had the benefit and the blessing of meeting Patty's mom as a company. But before that happened, Patty was the best example of people trying to maintain their work-life balance when they have to take care of a loved one. And I would see Patty at the Dell and out in the different community settings or entertainment settings, and she would some days just have it on her face, and I would just say really silently, "I'm here if you need help." And she, like most people, "I can do it myself. I have it. I'll be okay." And we got to meet her mom, and her mom has since passed on. But soon thereafter, that's when she had her stroke. I will never forget it because I got the call from the program director, and he says, "Hey, listen, we might need some help here, there, and that kind of thing. We don't know. Everything's a question mark." And I said, "Who? Patty Jackson?" He's like, "Yeah, Patty Jackson." I said, "Oh my goodness!" And then you turned that lemon with class into lemonade. You said, "Hey, listen, it could happen to anybody. It happened to me. You had some results of the stroke, and you had some rehab, and you have telegraphed and chronicled your journey. You should write a book." I am. Okay.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
You absolutely should because you have a story to tell, and it's engaging. And what I like most about you is you show strength through your vulnerability. Not many people can turn a stroke into something like, and really broadcast it the way you have and say, okay, this is a journey that I don't know how it's going to end up, but it's my journey to have. I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm just going to make the best out of the situation and try to get regained to the normal. Can you just briefly tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind?
You know what? I knew that at the age of 51 that this could not be my life. I knew that I could not be in a wheelchair the rest of my life. And I realized, even though I lost my vision and I couldn't walk, I could speak clear as a bell. A lot of people that have strokes lose their ability, their ability for speech. That's when I knew. I said, well, God, He didn't leave me. He didn't forget me. I've got to build myself back up. And I wanted my life back. I had a teenager at home. And I was like, I got to get back to being a mommy. So all I could think was about my life.
Wow, and when you think about that, kudos to you again. I'm just enamored of you as a person because I know her personally, and I know the story because I'm close to it. But for me, telling your story always encourages somebody else. You never know who's listening, who you're moving. When I see you out in the public, and I see people hug you and say, "Hey, that was me," that was my family member or something like that. It's also nice to see the city of Philadelphia give you your flowers while you're here. not long ago down in South Philadelphia, where you're born and raised.
Yes, yes.
We got Patty's Way. What is that? 23rd and Ellsworth.
Yep, it's Patty Jackson Way.
And so 23rd and Ellsworth, is that where you garnered?
That's where I grew up.
Was that where you garnered your cooking skills?
I sure did. I was in the kitchen with my mom. I watched her. She was an incredible cook.
Right.
You know.
And I see you sometimes on social media when you are preparing a meal, you just get in the spirit, and you always say, the spirit and my mom have guided my hands.
Yep.
So we're going to take the benefit of that right now. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Patty's going to walk us through a couple of desserts and a couple of dishes, and I'm going to even be brave enough to try to stand in here and try to do a dish or two with her. But stay tuned. Don't go away. We're going to be right back.
Did you know?
Let me help you with that, Mrs. Jackson.
Oh, thank you, dear.
How'd this get here? You got one too?
Yeah.
Ah, new recruits? I'm sure you're wondering why you're here. This is our Elite Caregiver Super Training Center, and you two are the perfect candidates.
This is incredible.
I know, right? Ready to become an Always Best Care caregiver? Working for the best team with competitive pay? Join Team Green.
Always Best Care supports diversity. There's a hero in all of us.
Dad, you can't do this anymore. I think it's time to consider a nursing home.
But I don't want to leave my home. All my stuff.
But Dad.
Alva.
Always Best Care is here to help.
With Always Best Care, we come to you and do anything you need to continue living at home with our care.
You really are a hero.
Let Always Best Care take care of your loved one. Everyone deserves the best care, always.
Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. So we have migrated into the kitchen, and right now we're doing prep. Patty is working on her string beans and her prep. She's prepping her mushrooms and her onions, and we're going to have some string beans. We're going to cook a roast, some salmon. I'm going to do some potatoes. We're going to have dessert. So maybe I'll just take you through what I'm going to do first. So I like potatoes. I like the little Blush and Bell potatoes. And what I do with potatoes is I put them in very clumsily, put them in a bowl, and I love olive oil. And what I do with the potatoes is I put a little olive oil in a bowl along with some light seasoning. Now you can season the taste. I like Havre de Grace, Havre de Provence, excuse me, and a little bit of oregano. And I put that into the bowl so you can see it. And then I add a little garlic, just for a little freshen, a little taste there. Dry garlic. And then I swish it around in the bowl. So that I'm trying to get, the goal is to make sure all of the potatoes get some garlic on them. So you got to get your hands messy. You got to get your hands messy for this. You got to get your hands messy, but it's all right. You can always rinse them off later. And I swish them around really nice like that. Whoop, one popped out. It's okay. And I put it in an aluminum pan, a half pan. Get these at the dollar store. And I just pour them right on in. I make sure all of the excess oil gets in there. Done with that pan, put it in the sink. I swish it around some more. And the potatoes are ready to go in the oven. So we're going to also do, I'm going to rinse off my hands. Patty, I'm going to do some salmon.
Okay.
This is my grandmother's recipe, and I did get permission to share it. Salmon is very finicky. You have to pay attention to how you cook your salmon. If you're cooking it on a grill or in the oven, there is a big difference. I take an aluminum pan, put the aluminum foil on it. You don't spray. You just put some nice pieces of salmon.
And what kind of salmon do you use?
This is the North Atlantic salmon.
Okay.
Shout out to my friends at ShopRite. They had a sale this week. But I got me 3 pieces of salmon, as you can see. I lay them just like so. And then I take the lemon juice. Can you hand me the lemon juice?
Mm-hmm.
People like, lemon juice? Lemon juice. Just make sure you put some lemon juice. You squirt some lemon juice on the salmon, just like so. Make sure it has a little bit of lemon juice on it. Let it stand for a minute. And then you put some good seafood seasoning. Some people use Old Bay. It depends your taste. I try to use, a mild seafood seasoning. And I lather and sprinkle on the salmon, like so. For anybody that's had my salmon in the past at a cookout, the only difference is I put it on the grill. Well, it's cold, so I'm not using the grill, I'm using the oven. So these two are ready to go into the oven. So you got the scallop potatoes, blush and bells or scallop potatoes, marinated with olive oil, oregano, and some garlic. And then you got some salmon with just basically lemon juice and some seafood seasoning. So they both take about the same time to cook. I'm going to go ahead, for the sake of the show, and put it in now. Well, hopefully by the end of the show it'll be done. Put it in the oven. Just like this. I'm not going to cover the potatoes because I want them to kind of get a little nice crust to them. Close it. Okay, those are done. Now, I'm going to do my roast. I got a nice piece of roast, 3 to 4 pounds. A nice roast. Very simple. If you're home and you're watching, a lot of times you're coming home from work and you don't want to really get in the kitchen and do too much, too fast. Again, olive oil. Some people want to lather their roast with water or butter or some type of cream. I just use olive oil. I use olive oil, and again, I lather my roast patty with a little olive oil. I'll tell you a funny story while I'm doing this. As you can see in the back in the kitchen, I have a lot of seasonings. Every single time my inspiration comes to visit me, my grandmother, she always asks me whether or not I have a seasoning that I normally don't have. The last time she was here, she said, "Baby, you got any basil?" And I was like, "No, I don't got no basil." "I got some oregano." "Nah." "I got some anise." "Nah, I was like, I have a taste for basil." We were making mussels. That's another show. We're making mussels with a little basil marinara. All right, so now that I have lathered the beef in the olive oil, next thing is just your seasonings. Your seasonings is season the taste. Now, for me, one of the base seasonings with meat is some celery seed. I got some celery seed. I'm going to do some celery seed on one side. Since I'm already on the theme with the garlic, with the potatoes, I'm going to use some dry garlic for the steak, beef. If I can open it up a little bit.
What does the celery seed, what kind of flavor does that add to it?
It gives you a little sustenance, a little crunch to it.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people mix potatoes and maybe mix vegetables. Celery seed gives that fake kind of roughage to it. If you're not going to do a tossed salad,
okay,
something like that, tonight we're not going to do a tossed salad. We're just going to basically do some string beans, some cabbage, some potatoes. So I just decided to do some celery seed, and then I got a little brisket seasoning that I'm gonna put on there to just add the taste. Now you can use seasoned salt. You can use any type of seasoning that you would use for the grill. But I'm going to use some basic brisket seasoning found at any one of your local supermarkets. It's not hard to get. And I season it like that on both sides. On both sides, you want to make sure you have enough seasoning. Drives my mother insane that I season heavy, but she never complains when it's done. We're going to season both sides of the meat. Do it a little differently this time. I'll add the brisket seasoning on there.
Now, with this dish, how long does it take to cook?
So 350 degrees, 2.5 hours. If you got a roast from 3 to 4 pounds, you can do it from taste. You can do it from anywhere from an hour and 45 minutes to 2.5 hours, depending on how tender you want the meat or how rare you want the meat. For this size of this piece of meat, I'm going to do it probably just a little bit at 2 hours at 350 degrees.
Okay, and what piece of beef is this?
This is chuck.
Okay.
This is a chuck roast without the bone. And I'm going to give the garlic on that side. And I'm going to cover it. I'm going to cover it with some aluminum foil. And because it's cooking at a different speed and temperature than my potatoes and salmon, I'm going to put it in the bottom and let it cook in the bottom. So I got to turn it on the oven. And so, Patty, that's three of the things down. So we're going to turn the oven on. Let's see. We're going to turn it on. Bake 350. Start. Put it in the rack. Like so. Now, I could get all sophisticated and set the timer and that kind of thing, but I won't. We're going to show you a done roast. And so that's my 3 entrees for right now. The salmon, the potatoes, and now the roast. Now, we're going to migrate over to Patty's section. I got my section, like this is my crayons. Now we're going to come over to Patty's section. And Patty, you've been over here working on your prep for your string beans.
Yes, I have. So we're going to start with that. If you could open up these 2 cans of chicken broth.
Okay.
String beans happens to be my favorite vegetable.
Let me get right here with you.
And I think that you can learn to love your veggies. And what I love about string beans, you can dress it up where I have my garlic already done, chicken broth, I have butter because butter makes everything better. We've got mushrooms, we've got onions, and we just put them all together. And it really makes a nice dish. And for those who are like, I don't know if I like my green vegetables, this is a really neat way of making string beans. And I use chicken broth because there's no meat in this. Not that I'm not a meat person, but between your mushrooms, you see how hearty they are, and with your chicken broth and your butter, it gives it a great taste.
Oh, wow. While Patty is taking us through the string bean recipes, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Did you know?
Dad, you can't do this anymore. I think it's time to consider a nursing home.
But I don't want to leave my home. All my stuff.
But Dad,
Albert.
Always Best Care is here to help.
With Always Best Care, we come to you and do anything you need to continue living at home with our care.
You really are a hero.
Let Always Best Care take care of your loved one. Everyone deserves the best care, always.
Let me help you with that, Mr. Smith.
Oh, thank you.
How did this get here?
You got one too?
Yeah.
Ah, new recruits? I'm sure you're wondering why you're here. This is our Elite Caregiver Super Training Center, and you two are the perfect candidates.
This is incredible.
I know, right? Ready to become an Always Best Care caregiver? Working for the best team with competitive pay? Join Team Green.
Always Best Care supports diversity. There's a hero in all of us.
Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. I'm going to sneak in a cabbage. What I've done is I got a wok, and I put some olive oil along with I cut down some onions and an orange pepper, and I'm heating it up, and I'm going to put some smoked turkey over it like so, and let's let that get brown a little bit, and then we're going to put the cabbage in. And then we season it to taste. We have all of this good stuff in here, and it gets a little brown, and it's heating up. I can smell it already. The smoked meat, the nice thing about smoked meat is it's already done.
Okay.
So, you have the smoked meat in there with the onions and the peppers. And now I've chopped down my cabbage. I'm going to go get the cabbage real quick.
What is the importance of the peppers?
Peppers give it a little taste.
Okay.
We didn't do we're going to do collard greens the next show. But with most of my green vegetables, I like a little pepper. If it's a tossed salad, if it's cabbage, if it's collard greens, I like peppers and onions. I think it gives it a nice, consistent roughage. So we're going to very slowly put the cabbage in. And it always looks like it's going to fill the pot, overflow it. But cabbage cooks down after a while. And this is, again, cooking on, after you wash and cut down the cabbage, I put it on olive oil. You can smell the aroma in there. My grandmother would be so proud. like so. Making a little bit of a mess, but that's all right.
Now, do you add any broth or you just let it cook down like that?
I let it cook down like this. Every now and again, I might put a little bit more olive oil in there, which I probably will have to do, because there's a big cabbage. Oh, it's falling over a little bit, but that's okay.
And so basically you put a lid on it cooks down.
And I let it open cook for a while.
Okay.
I let it open cook for a while. That way I can watch it, and then, somewhere down in the middle, and that's about maybe 5-10 minutes, I stir it up a little bit. Oh, a little piece fell down. I bumped my big head. Got a little piece in here. And we cook it down like so. And now we're going to get into the desserts. Patty's going to take us through getting to some of the desserts she's prepared. We have banana pudding as well as a pineapple upside down cake. Oh my goodness, we got scallop potatoes, we got a roast, and we got salmon. Stay tuned, don't go away as we wind down the show. Don't go away.
Did you know?
Let me help you with that, Mrs. Jackson.
Oh, thank you, dear.
How'd this get here? You got one too?
Yeah.
Ah, new recruits? I'm sure you're wondering why you're here. This is our Elite Caregiver Super Training Center, and you two are the perfect candidates.
This is incredible.
I know, right? Ready to become an Always Best Care caregiver? Working for the best team with competitive pay? Join Team Green.
Always Best Care supports diversity. There's a hero in all of us.
Dad, you can't do this anymore. I think it's time to consider a nursing home.
But I don't want to leave my home. All my stuff.
But Dad.
Albert.
Always Best Care is here to help.
With Always Best Care, we come to you and do anything you need to continue living at home with our care.
You really are a hero.
Let Always Best Care take care of your loved one. Everyone deserves the best care. Always.
Did you know?
So we're doing the string beans, and there's no meat in this, but let me tell you something. It comes out really, really good. I'm adding my mushrooms, I'm adding my onions, stir it a little bit. It's going to give it a really nice flavor. And of course, I put a whole stick of butter in here because butter makes everything better. Hand me the cans of chicken broth.
Okay.
We'll do that here. So you won't even feel that you don't have any meat, because a lot of people are like, there's no meat in there. But no, let me tell you something. The chicken broth, and if you're salt sensitive, like I tend to be, it really gives it a nice flavor. You put it all together. Hand me the string beans. We've added our garlic. We've got our string beans, and they're ready. You put them in here, and they cook up really good and really flavorful. When you run into people who they're hard, especially when you got kids and they don't eat their vegetables, this is a great way to give them a nice vegetable and they can eat something that's really good. You add all your string beans to it, and we are ready to go. We're going to let it cook down a little bit because we're going to cook it to the point where it has a nice, catchy crunch to our string beans. Hand me the lid. And with that part, we are done. I'm telling you, this is a great recipe, and I owe it to my girlfriend Dana, who taught me how to fix her string beans.
I feel like we're performing surgery over here. hand her the.
Yes, hand me this.
Hand me that. But it's cool. I'm getting a lesson.
Okay, good.
All right.
Good. We're gonna move over here.
Okay.
Banana pudding. This is called Not Your Grandmother's Banana Pudding. And what makes it different, you're using instant vanilla pudding. You've got this. You've got your bananas right here. You've got cream cheese.
Oh, wow.
You can tell I'm a cheesy kind of girl. Yeah, cream cheese. And then you have your Cool Whip. It makes up a great dish. And yes, it's a different way of fixing a banana pudding, but let me tell you, it is really, really good. And of course, gotta have your vanilla extract to give her just that really nice flavor.
So what can I do to assist you?
Okay, give me a pan.
I got my pan is coming right up.
Now this is a little unconventional. We're using 2 different types of cookies. You could either use the Nilla Wafers, right? Or let's get fancy. Pepperidge Farm has these Chessman butter cookies, and it really gives it a nice little fancy touch. What we're going to start off with, because I don't know how many we're going to have for the bottom, but if you could open that for me.
Sure.
We're going to line the pan with our butter chessmen. Now, everybody has a different way of doing banana pudding, but trust me, dessert time, family gatherings, you come through with some good banana pudding, people are going to love it, they're going to eat it, and they're not going to hassle you. But this is called Not Your Grandmother's Banana Pudding. So we're going to line this pan up, and you do it, it's really easy. You line them up like this. I'm going to do this part, Brian.
Okay.
You're going to come back. Brian's going to be lining up the thing,
Okay.
the pan here. I need some milk.
I got some milk coming up.
So I can whip up. Do you have a whisk?
I do.
I do. I have a whisk so that we can whip up our instant Jell-O pudding. It comes up really fast. Give me that. Give me a thing to measure how much water we're going to have. But we're going to make up our instant pudding. And it comes up pretty quick.
Whisk.
Yes, we got a whisk. Give me a bowl.
Okay. You want this bowl? Is that big
I'll
enough?
take this bowl.
Okay.
Take these eggs out.
Okay.
Because we won't need this. But I need my milk.
You need condensed milk?
No, not condensed milk.
Just regular milk?
Just regular milk
2%?
right now.
1%? Low?
What kind of milk do you have? I usually use whole milk for the recipe.
Whole milk coming up.
Okay. So what we're going to do here, we have our measuring cup. This calls for 3 cups of milk. So we're going to do this. That sweetened condensed milk, can you open that for me?
Sure.
This is 2 cups right here, and we'll pour it in.
Okay. And then you want the condensed milk too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No problem.
If you could open that for me, that saves a lot of time. What I love about instant vanilla pudding, it's instant and it cooks up really fast. So you're going to whisk it up. And I'm loving this whisk. Open this for me because we're going to put in vanilla.
Okay.
You're probably saying, but you're not measuring anything. Well, I guess it's kind of old school when you watch your parents cook all the time. It's in your wrist. You do everything, you eyeball and in the wrist, which a lot of cooks like to do. Open that vanilla. We love vanilla because it gives it such a nice flavor. So, yeah. You're saying, how much did you put in there? But you know what? It's going to taste really good. So we have that, and we're going to let this sit. I need another bowl.
Okay.
We got Cool Whip. I need my sweetened condensed, and we need my cream cheese. Hand me another bowl.
Okay, we're going to get another clean bowl.
Okay, he's getting a clean bowl. This is where the taste gets interesting between your Cool Whip, cream cheese. There are so many things that you could do with cream cheese and really add something to the mix. Here's something I want you to do. Put this in the zinc, and I want you to spray it with lemon juice.
Okay.
One of the things about the bananas, you want to keep them from being brown and getting brown. Adding that lemon, and then when you put it all together, it really tastes really good. We've got our sweetened condensed milk here, and we want to get all of it out of here.
Okay.
Okay. Brian, open up the Cool Whip.
Okay.
Show you how we do this. Okay, this side. Show you how we do this. All of these unique milks, it really comes together in the end. So we'll do this part. We're going to have some cleaning up to do in here. But I need a spoon
Okay.
with our Cool Whip.
Wow, these packages are really protected.
Yes. Now, here's a tip. if you're making this banana pudding, you need to let your Cool Whip and your cream cheese get at room temperature. It saves you a whole lot of time. I'm gonna need a bigger spoon than this. Look at Brian giving me the baby spoon. I need a bigger spoon.
Get the tools, right? I'm sorry.
I need a bigger spoon. Let's open up that cream cheese because I'm gonna put half of it in here. What you're doing, you've got Cool Whip, which is really good. And if you have little ones who are helping you, you can let them lick the spoon. So you can really make it a nice family affair as they come together. But we're gonna open this. I'm gonna take half of this cream cheese. And the cream cheese gives it a very unique flavor for those. Look how we're doing it. We're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. I would normally cut it with a knife, but we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna take half of this cream cheese and we're gonna do it like this and put it in here. You take that.
Okay.
This is my spoon. I'm gonna come over here next time and have my spoons. But we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna add all of this together. You wanna make sure that when you have your cream cheese, it's really, really, really at room temperature because it makes it easy for you to do your mixing.
To manipulate it. Okay.
Yeah, it's much easier to manipulate when you do it like that. So the softer the cream cheese, the better. So I do it by hand. You can also use your little whisk over here if you wanna turn that on a little bit, just to give me a little.
Which one? The beater?
Yep. We're gonna use a beater. So just remember that. Always have it really, really, really at room temperature. And you can do it like that. Not Your Mama's banana pudding is really popular. I've seen Paula Deen do it. And a lot of people do it really differently. They'll crush up the cookies. So there are many fun ways, but we don't want this everywhere. But what we're going to do is this. We just want to speed it up a little bit. And it's got a nice sweet taste, but not too sweet. This is something to really make it good. So we're going to do this. And then, if you could pass me the other bowl with the vanilla pudding, what we're going to do, this is when we marry the dishes together. And we do it like this.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to put it together. And this is basically what you're going to have for your, as you whip it together. And it's really good and it's really unique. Thank you. Thank you. If I was home, if I was home, I would have done it with my mouth just to speed things along. Just really quick. But this makes a really, really unique banana pudding. And around the holiday times, if you ever have people and they're like, we want banana pudding, you could be the whiz in the kitchen and make sure that it gets done.
Oh, wow.
And this is really good. It creams up really, really good. And what you're going to do with this, as it creams up, doesn't that look good? And it's really easy. You let it cream up, and you're going to pour it in. I'm moving ahead of myself, but this is good.
Your bananas?
I need my bananas. So we're going to put our bananas in. It's still going to taste really good. So we got our bananas. Take this. We've soaked it with the real lemon juice. And now we get to do this fun part. And you add all of this together, and you're going to make it really, really good. And it comes out creamy and good. And when it gets cold and when it settles, what you're going to notice, you're going to have a really good dish by the time you put it in. Now, what you're going to do, Brian, you're going to finish covering this with cookies.
I got a job. Okay, great. I was hoping that you were going
to yes. Cover them with cookies, but trust me on this. It makes for a really, really good dish, and you can show up at any family function, and you will get all the praises in the world because they'll wonder, how did you do this? And it's really quick and easy. This is not your grandmama's banana pudding.
Wow. So let's take a quick break, And when we come back, we're going to continue with the desserts. I think Patty's going to do us a pineapple upside down cake next. All right, so we got this. We're going to take a break. Don't go away.
Did you know?
Dad, you can't do this anymore. I think it's time to consider a nursing home.
But I don't want to leave my home. All my stuff.
But Dad,
Alva.
Always Best Care is here to help.
With Always Best Care, we come to you and do anything you need to continue living at home with our care.
You really are a hero.
Let Always Best Care take care of your loved one. Everyone deserves the best care, always.
Let me help you with that, Mr. Smith.
Oh, thank you.
How did this get here?
You got one too?
Yeah.
Ah, new recruits? I'm sure you're wondering why you're here. This is our Elite Caregiver Super Training Center, and you two are the perfect candidates.
This is incredible.
I know, right? Ready to become an Always Best Care caregiver? Working for the best team with competitive pay? Join Team Green.
Always Best Care supports diversity. There's a hero in all of us.
Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. We're here getting a lesson with Miss Patty Jackson. We finished the banana pudding. Patty, we put this in the refrigerator?
We put this in the refrigerator. Now, I know it looks a little mismatched because we have two different kind of cookies, but both cookies are good. We're going to put this right into the refrigerator. Let it stay in there about 5 hours and let it get nice and chilled and cold, and it will be very good. Now, another dish that we have, we're going to move right into our banana. We did banana pudding, pineapple upside down cake, which is another real quick and fun dessert to make. Okay, don't ever be afraid of using box because it'll save you time and it comes out really good. This calls for 3 eggs. So what we'll do, we'll crack 3 eggs, right? We're going to use the juice from our sliced pineapples because I'm going to show you the can that I got for the sliced pineapples. Okay. Pineapple slices. I took the juice out of here and I put it here. And we've got our juice, right? And the recipe also called for vegetable oil, so we're going to add that in it as well.
How much vegetable oil, Patty?
Just a half a cup of vegetable oil.
Okay.
I used all of the juices from the pineapple juice, but once again, another easy dish, and we mix this together. A lot of people love pineapple upside down cake, but you know what they say, I don't know how to make it. Well, what you do, it's an excellent dish that you can cook, and it's easy. Never be afraid, I'm telling you, to use the box, because the box is going to come out moist and it's going to come out good. And Brian, would you mind doing this part? Because there's another part that we have to do for the pineapple upside down cake. Keep mixing it so that it mixes up good. Now we're going to do the fun part. We're going to go over to the stove, but first, I believe we have to move something out of the way. So what I'm going to do is we've got our string beans here, right? Going to move these string beans, cut it off. We've got our string beans.
Okay.
That's on low, that's on. Okay, we're going to move our string beans. Wait a minute, you want to see the string beans? Okay. Look at them string beans. It comes out so good. Wow. So we're ready with our vegetables. And now we're going to move on over here with the fun part of making pineapple upside down cake. By now, from watching me, you know that I love butter. I need a stick of butter. And what we're going to do is we are going to turn the oven back on. And Brian said it's the middle one. Okay. Wow. Okay, that's...
Is it on?
Is it on?
Yeah.
It is?
It came on.
Okay, it came on. He said it's on, it's on. Okay, butter, because butter, what does it do? It makes everything better. And we put it in here. Put that there. We're going to melt this butter because we want to add it to
the brown sugar?
The brown sugar.
Want me to open it first?
Yes. Open it up for me. The brown sugar and the butter, what it does, this is going to be your topping for the pineapple upside down cake. And we're fixing it in a pan like this because what we're going to do is, once we add everything in, you're going to turn it upside down or right side. It makes a pineapple upside down cake. We love brown sugar.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, Brian, you ever wonder how I came up with this? Why this was so good?
No, I'm
household?
getting a lesson.
You know why? Because pineapple upside down cake, you just don't go anywhere to get it, right?
Okay.
And with the goodness of the butter and the brown sugar,
Oh, wow.
I need you to get me, you have a wooden spoon?
Wooden spoon coming up.
Yeah, wooden spoon coming up. I know you're saying you're not measuring it. It's in the wrist. It's in the wrist. And you kind of like eyeball it. And what I'm going to do, any other kind of spoon that won't make a lot of noise will do. You're going to melt this down. And what it's going to give you, and gosh, if you could like be here and smell it, it's this aroma of the brown sugar and butter, and it's just goodness.
I'm going to have to give you a metal spoon.
Okay, now metal spoons make noise. And that on Brian. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm trying not to make a lot of noise because you don't want to make a lot of noise. But what this does here, you're really just melting down the brown sugar because you're going to use this. Why do you melt the brown sugar? Because it is going to make for the most awesome, and I mean awesome, topping. Now what we're going to do with this, stick this down. This is like an old favorite. Again, people make it different ways, but when you get a nice cast iron, it cooks up perfectly. So we're making do with this. I don't want to make a lot of noise, but we're creaming everything together. And Brian, I'm going to turn this down just a little bit.
Okay.
So turn it down a little bit.
To low.
Okay, turn it to low. Pass me the pineapples.
All right.
The canned pineapples, what you want to do, if you can't get, okay, canned pineapples. They're already sliced. I love the things that make it easier for you to cook. Especially, you know, if you do things, if you're working, you know, you got the kids, you got things going on, but you could still fix a nice meal. What we're doing, we're placing the pineapples right in here.
Oh, wow.
Yep. That's how you get it.
That looks good.
Yes. And we've got, okay, when we have extra, we just kind of like double them.
Okay.
But what we're going to do, we'll do this, right?
Pineapple
I'm going to
juice.
cut it off. So, right here, Brian?
Yep.
Okay. Now we got another fun part, the maraschino cherries. Brian, pass me those cherries. Open up. We love maraschino cherries.
Okay.
And, okay, normally the kind of maraschino cherries I get, the
crush,
stem, the stem is already off.
Okay.
But for time's sake, we're going to do it like this. But the maraschino cherries that you're going to be looking for, they already have the stems off. And if you go to the, you know, dessert section or the ice cream section where they have this stuff, they will have it. You decorate it real nice because what we're going to do, and Brian is going to be bringing it over for us. He is going to bring us the batter. It comes out really easy. And let me tell you something. If you think it's going to stick, it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. It's going to come out really nice. So I want you to pour it in.
Pour it all, okay.
Pour it all, pour it all in. And we want to get it. We want to get it all out. We want to get all of our
batter out.
Cake mix. You want to get this batter.
Wow.
Yep. And this is how you come up with a pineapple upside down cake.
Look out, Autumn. I'm taking your spot.
I do. I have a 6-year-old great niece, and I have her in the kitchen with me, and this is what she does. She helps me. But this is ready to go into the oven.
Oh, wow. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to We're going to follow up. I lost my train of thought. I'm in here trying to smell and write. So stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Did you know?
Let me help you with that, Mrs. Jackson.
Oh, thank you, dear.
How'd this get here? You got one too?
Yeah.
Ah, new recruits? I'm sure you're wondering why you're here. This is our Elite Caregiver Super Training Center, and you two are the perfect candidates.
This is incredible.
I know, right? Ready to become an Always Best Care caregiver? Working for the best team with competitive pay? Join Team Green.
Always Best Care supports diversity. There's a hero in all of us.
Dad, you can't do this anymore. I think it's time to consider a nursing home.
But I don't want to leave my home. All my stuff.
But Dad,
Alva.
Always Best Care is here to help.
With Always Best Care, we come to you and do anything you need to continue living at home with our care.
You really are a hero.
Let Always Best Care take care of your loved one. Everyone deserves the best care. Always.
Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. We're coming at the end of this show. I've been here with my good friend and radio mentor, Patty Jackson. Not only has she been on the radio for 40 years, but this sister can burn. Patty, I see you left your toenails in it. It's it's pretty good. It's been great collaborating with you in the kitchen for this first episode of our first episode of Cooking with Patty Jackson.
Okay.
Aunt Patty, Auntie's advice.
Yes.
So we have the
Pineapple upside down cake, which is a really easy recipe to make. It's something really fun. If you love butter and brown sugar, you're going to love it. We did Not Your Mama's banana pudding, which is also another dish that's really good. And you know what? It tastes even better. I love string beans. So this is the string beans that I made, no meat, but we've got mushrooms and chicken broth and butter to make it better. Now that was my part, Brian.
So then I did the scalloped potatoes on the olive oil, and we did the salmon with just simply lemon juice and seasoning. It came to a nice crust, and then the roast. I wish you guys out in TV land could see the outtakes, because we were in here fighting off the production team, getting off the roast. It's done, and it's pink in the center. It's just really, really nice and really tender to the touch. It's tender to the touch. A lot of people like it that way. And we didn't have time to go over my 7-Up recipe, but we did one. We did a 7-Up cake. But that's going to be our next episode.
Yes.
7-Up cake. And maybe I'm getting on my hands and knees, and maybe Patty will share with us her cobbler. I mean, that's like, a staple in her kitchen. And everybody comes from around the country to get a taste of it. I've seen it in person. All right, Patty, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. This has been fun. We did some stuff. We still got the cabbages cooking. That's fine. We're not going to show you any undone food. But it smells great. As soon as we cut the cameras off, we're going to bust a grub in this kitchen. Patty, thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you again for lending your recipes. We have the upside down pineapple cake, the banana, Not Your Mama's. Is that right?
Nope, Not Your Grandmama's banana pudding.
Not Your Grandmama's banana pudding, the string beans with mushrooms and onions.
Yes.
And that is just, and garlic. You have the scalloped potatoes, you have the grilled salmon, and you have the chuck roast that was made with olive oil and some garlic seasoning. Patty, before we close the show, what's going on in your world?
Well, you can find me on YouTube, Patty Jackson. It's always Patty with a Y. On Instagram, WDAS Patty. Facebook, social media, we do it big. I love to do a lot of cooking stuff with my family, marking 40 years in the business. I think I might get into some teaching next year. You'll never know. But cooking like this was a lot of fun, and just sharing recipes, growing up, and you can really make some really good dishes in your kitchen. And it won't really take a lot, but just the little things, because you always want your food to taste good.
Wow. And I can't wait till the summer season. I'm looking forward to the gel. Hopefully by then the virus will have plateaued and we can have some open up and have a full season this season. That's what I'm hoping for, at least.
Yes.
You know, I'm hoping for a full season at the Dell. And we got a whole lot of different things going on. We have, Black History Month is upon us, and we're going to do some really exciting things that is going on with that, as well as I'm going to invite Patty back over in the kitchen. I'm not over the fact that we didn't do the blueberry cobbler. That's something that we have to really shoot for. Maybe next time we'll do a leg of lamb or some lamb, with some mint jelly.
Yeah.
And, I've seen you in the kitchen now. You make a mean macaroni and cheese.
Yes.
How many cheeses do you use?
I use between 6 and 7 cheeses.
Wow.
And it's really the basics. If you got good cheddar cheese, you can make a good macaroni and cheese, okay? You don't need the Goudas and everything else. Good cheddar.
Good cheddar, not the Wisconsin or the New York Sharp and all that?
Well, long as it's good cheddar.
As long as it's good cheddar,
yes,
okay.
long as it's good cheddar cheese.
Where do you do most of your shopping for food? I see you on Facebook all the time. Do you just go to the supermarket or do you go to specialty places?
I'm a supermarket junkie, aren't I, Smitty? I go everywhere. I could give a dissertation on each and every supermarket that's in the region. I love going supermarket shopping. I love, every market is different. And
their floor plan is different?
It is, but they all sell different things. I'm really getting into fresh herbs now. So there's a lot of things that I look forward to in the kitchen, but it's just fun hanging out in the market, as I like to say.
Thank you again for coming on to the show. I really appreciate it. We can't wait to dig in. The production team and Smitty are waiting patiently to get into this grub. We left it like this for presentation because we didn't want to get greasy on the camera. But we've had a lot of fun. This has been really, really good. The Did You Know Show is sponsored by Always Best Care Senior Services. And, we are the agency that never sleeps. We are currently hiring caregivers. We are looking for customer service reps. We're looking for marketing staff, as well as a director down in our Wilmington office. Please check us out at teamgreenabc.com. If you need help in the home from 2 hours to 24-hour living, if you need help during a vacation, if you need help just sitting with mom and dad to people watch, we are the agency that never sleeps. We're open 24/7. The number is right at the bottom of the screen. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Did you know he'll help you understand? Did you know always a right-hand man? Did you know he's gonna make it clear? Did you know? Come on, listen here. Did you know?
Dad, you can't do this anymore. I think it's time to consider a nursing home.
But I don't want to leave my home. All my stuff.
But Dad.
Alva.
Always Best Care is here to help.
With Always Best Care, we come to you and do anything you need to continue living at home with our care.
You really are a hero.
Let Always Best Care take care of your loved one. Everyone deserves the best care. Always.
Let me help you with that, Mr. Smith.
Oh, thank you.
How did this get here?
You got one too?
Yeah.
New recruits? I'm sure you're wondering why you're here. This is our Elite Caregiver Super Training Center, and you two are the perfect candidates.
This is incredible.
I know, right? Ready to become an Always Best Care caregiver? Working for the best team with competitive pay? Join Team Green.
Always Best Care supports diversity. There's a hero in all of us.